Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA, and the night is finally here. Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou. And after hours and hours and hours of deliberating, I got my picks, bitches. So this is gonna be my pre-fight picks. I mean, my pre-fight breakdowns and picks, and I'm gonna be covering the main event and the co-main event. And I don't like throwing disclaimers out there, but I'm going to be a total hypocrite and I'm going to throw disclaimers out there. I know I'm making my picks, man, but like this is just because it's kind of like gun to my head moment. I told you guys I'm going to do a pick video, and I just like thought I needed a little more time to think of who I'm going to be picking, but fuck, man. I don't know exactly because it could just go so many different ways, but I have the people who I'm willing to have it put on record that I'm going for. So I'm just going to start off with what we've been waiting for, man. The main event. And I almost had a slip of the tongue and said the co-main event. Man, I was like, all right, guys, we've been waiting for this for so long. Volkan Oezdemir versus Daniel Cormier. But anyway, so the main event. Stipe Miocic versus Francis the Predator Ngannou. My pick for the winner of this fight is, drumroll, Stipe Miocic. Yes, that's who I'm picking to win, and I'll give you exactly the reasons why. I feel like Stipe, when you look at Stipe's record, first of all, I'm just going to start off with my whole crux of why I'm picking Stipe, because I kind of felt more when I was going to, I was like, before I was kind of just seeing Francis getting this crazy, wild, amazing knockout, which still very well could happen. But then I was thinking, you know what? I feel like Stipe is going to do what Stipe's been doing. And just look at what he's been doing as of recent. Look at the run he's on right now. It's fucking wild, the run he's on. So let's go from his last loss from JDS. He TKO'd Mark Hunt. He KO'd Andrei Arlovsky. He beat Verdum. He beat Overeem, and he knocked out JDS. And that's like a fairly recent run. You know what I mean? So let's look, and then he beat Roy Nelson back in 2013 when it mattered. He beat Gabriel Gonzaga, which is like an alright guy. But when you look at and that JDS fight was some shit, you know what I'm saying? So the first fight, I'm saying. So it could have went either way. So I'm not even going to say, if you look at it, that he got the nod, he's on this much of a streak. But even to go from JDS to at that time to Mark Hunt, and then beating Mark Hunt, and then ending Andrei Arlovsky's run for the title. Because keep in mind, Andrei Arlovsky was like on top of his shit at that point, because he had that fight of the year with Travis Brown, contender, and he was doing good. He beat Frank Mir. Like, that wasn't that much entertaining, but he was on quite a streak himself. So he ended that. It was pretty much like the winner of that was like pretty close to getting the title shot. So then, the whole shit with Kane fell out, and then he beat Verdum, knocked out Verdum. And I'm going to pause right there, because I feel like this knockout is going to be similar to the Verdum knockout. And I'm picking Stipe to win by knockout. Knockout TKO. And here's how I kind of see it happening if it happens. I see Francis Ngannou. Stipe is so precise and accurate. And if you guys have been on the channel for a little while, you'll know that I've been saying that. And that's something that I've been crediting Stipe for a lot, especially how clean and crisp his boxing is. Not as much, not so much exactly like his overall technical boxing game in MMA, but his his MMA boxing striking is so precise and accurate, and you know, it doesn't take much. It's almost if you blink, you miss the Verdum knockout. And that's what Verdum coming forward, pressuring. And when you look at Ngannou's fight with Overeem, it was a bit of a weird fight because Overeem wasn't even doing that like weird like cautious Overeem. He wasn't like playing like the running Overeem. He was just kind of being like weird and like scared and almost like a bit like Bader and Rumble, like, oh, I don't want to face the power, so I'm going to engage and like try and close the distance quick. And then, you know, he wasn't being cautious Overeem, because cautious Overeem, like economical Overeem, he knows how to manage distance. And economical Overeem he's not gonna do that shit that he did where he's going to fucking wing a shot while he's backing up, which leaves him open to getting knocked the fuck out. Economical Overeem knows very well how to stay on the outside and how to change those ranges and even create distance. Create distance so much to the point that he doesn't mind turning his back and running very often. You know? So Overeem was like, he didn't know. I don't know what the fuck was up with him. So I felt like the way Overeem fought that fight, definitely, and that shows how much of a beast Francis is. It's like, if you're not on your P's and Q's, and if you just leave one tiny, like a motherfucking mouse, just a small little hole, that motherfucker will get right through it. So I think Stipe, he's gotten to a point where I think he knows that he's just like the shit. And this is like from him and his feeling. And like, obviously it's what I think. That he's like, you know, I'm the baddest motherfucker in the world. I could beat any fighter in the heavyweight division right now. Bring him up. And I don't even think that's so much of like a inner pep talk or a monologue that like a mantra that he says to train himself or to drive himself. I feel like he just really feels like that he's at that point in his prime. And I mean, addressing some problems. Stipe gets tagged. We all know that. Stipe gets tagged in a lot of his fights. And you know, Stipe got dropped in the Overeem fight, which was more of a flash knockdown than anything. It was like a drop to the ass, so it wasn't like that bad with like your hands down. But he gets hit, man, but he's resilient. He got knocked out by Stefan Struve like 2012. And that was like maybe his, like, I don't know, like third or fourth fight in the UFC or some shit like that. So he look at his resume, man. It's just so fucking decorated. And the way he adjusted to being in trouble in the Overeem fight shows a lot. The way he adjusted to Verdum's pressure and having his counter striking that crisp shows a lot. The way he adjusted to the second JDS fight, where he felt the pain in his legs, so he knew to come forward with the forward pressure, and he needed to finish and actually got the finish. So I'm saying, man, like, he can be. So here's what I see kind of happening, playing out a bit. He bounces around in the canvas in the middle, kind of jabs Francis a little. I see him remaining calm and not kind of having that intimidated energy that Overeem had. And once he kind of established his range a little bit, I hope he keeps his head on the swivel a little bit more and like gets that head moving and not in any like a way that could be calculated, or in like a very obvious bob and weave pattern, but really get some good, nice RDA style head movement up in there, and then just do your thing. Work off the jab, work off your combos, work on your pressure, because the danger of what's going on is going to be like Stipe coming forward is in danger of getting knocked out. Stipe moving back is in danger of getting knocked out. Francis coming forward could get knocked out by Stipe. Francis moving back could get knocked out by Stipe. They both can knock each other out in every position pretty much. So the question is, who's going to be smarter, or what equation of variables are going to line up for Stipe to be the one to end up on top? I feel like Stipe needs to be cool and calm. He needs to really dictate range well. You see, people are saying, oh, Stipe needs to wrestle a lot. He does have good wrestling. And although I do get it's very dangerous playing that game just standing with Francis, but I feel like Stipe's offensive boxing is good enough that he might be able to win that. The thing with Francis is he has knockout power in both hands, as I said in my last video. He can knock you out with his lead hand, or his lead left, or his power right. So whichever way whenever you're in range, whichever way you're moving, if you're moving your head left or right, you could get knocked out either way. So you almost kind of, if you're don't have an Anderson Silva in his prime confidence of making reads, you might find yourself backing up a lot, because the safest way is being on the outside and only closing the range when you could get in and out and land. And I see Stipe not playing that game, like just coming out, in and out, and just point fighting, but I can see Stipe establishing his range well, and if he can evade enough, I could see Stipe backing up, Francis coming in with a pressure, and like the Verdum knockout, Stipe kind of catching him. I'm saying, I want to say first round, but I'm thinking second round. I'm thinking second round knockout or TKO. And I kind of feel it coming out of nowhere, like the Verdum knockout. When you look at fucking Stipe Miocic and his finishes, man, they really kind of seem to come out of nowhere. When you look at the Verdum knockout, shit came out of nowhere. When you almost look at the Alistair Overeem knockout, it kind of came out of nowhere, because at one moment Alistair fucked up, and then Stipe's like getting him to the ground, and Stipe stacked him, and before you know it, like Alistair's out. So it's like, oh shit, like, and when you look at the Miocic Mark Hunt fight, which I'm about to pull up that motherfucking finish right now, because that shit was dope. Give me a second. Yeah, my bad, guys. Hold up. Yeah, so yeah, the way he's up against the cage, and then he's got Mark Hunt, and you see that precise striking I'm talking about. Even that ground and pound from side control, having like Mark crushed up against the fence. He's landing really hard shots, like short shots that look like they shouldn't hurt that bad, but they are. because he knows how to generate the power on it. And you know, the way he just kind of eats away at Mark Hunt, it's almost kind of reminiscent of not exactly because of how the events turn, but if you watch Dan Henderson versus Fedor Emelianenko, when Henderson pulls the reversal and then he gets that position and he starts raining shots down on Fedor, like Stipe can fuck shit up in a lot of different positions. And we know Francis is good in a lot of positions and has a lot of crazy power. But the question about Francis is how well-rounded is his game. We know he has a few submissions, but what do those, like, how significant are those submissions in reality? And I'm not taking that anything away against Francis. What I'm saying by that is how we know he's competent in jiu-jitsu, but at what level? And it's not anything. It's just what everyone has to go through when they're starting out as they get tested. You know they've shown they could pull this technique, but at what caliber are they able to do it? So yeah, man. So that's exactly my real, like, my pick. Stipe Miocic. I wanted to say first, but I'm saying second round KO, TKO. Let the record show that I said first. And I know, like, that I was considering the first, but officially it's second. And yeah. So on the flip side, I know that Francis this could be Francis's night. This could be the legit star-making night of Francis. Francis could just recreate the magic that he did that Overium night. Just kind of make everyone, as they're talking, he just fucking sleeps Stipe, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck did I just watch? That very well could happen, man. I'm not taking away from that. I very well understand that Francis is a fucking monster, and that he's so dangerous that he could really catch you with his, like, a casual lead left hand, and he could sleep your shit with a right. And he doesn't need to really take much time to establish any range. As long as he catches you, you might very well go out. So I do understand that, and I'll be cool with that outcome too. I'm kind of cool with whichever way this goes. But yeah, man, I don't have like I feel like, yeah, this is like a smart and like educated pick, and yeah, it is the underdog pick, but I don't know. I feel like Stipe's been not taking anything that Francis is unproven or anything like that, but Stipe is extremely well proven, and I don't know, just like what this stride is on, with this run he's been on, he's kind of just been like almost casually just like murking people like it's fucking nothing. And it's like the way he does it, like he's doing it against like this high caliber people, and like he's so nonchalant about it. I just guess we as the fans are a little nonchalant about it as well, and don't kind of let it resonate enough with us, like the depth of his resume. So now on to DC versus Volkan No Time Oezdemir. Real quick, man, I was cracking the fuck up at the weigh-ins when DC was on the scale with his hands up, and the way he was looking at the guy reading the scale. Like the way he just like had that look in his eyes and never broke like his focus on him. Even when he's moving, he's like following him. And when he says 205, he's just like, yes. So DC made weight and Volkan made weight, no problem. And You know, I think it was kind of funny because like I was watching a few of the embedded episodes. I watched like the last few, and you know, I thought it was kind of funny like the shit that was going on between DC and Volkan. Them just like standing, like I'm not moving, you move, like you go walk away, and then like you walk away, like you come here, and then the next day you see, and then Volkan's like you walk away, and they just like stand there and like you know it's just like the weirdest funniest shit. I don't know, I was kind of digging it because it was just like it was cringy and awkward, but it was so cringy and awkward, like it was something that like it would be like a Will Ferrell skit, but the fact that it's not Will like a skit and it's real life, like that's like some shit you'd see in like Anchorman or some shit like that. Like walk away, no you walk away, and then the next time they see each other, the other guy's like walk away, and he's like I'm staying right here, and they're just standing in a lobby saying nothing while a crowd builds up. I don't know, man, but like yeah. So honestly, my picks. So, I mean, I really want to be like, and I think I'm gonna go with DC, but like, I kind of smell upset in the air. I'm not officially picking an upset, but let the record show. Here, I'm officially picking DC. And I'm picking DC by wrestling not too entertaining, grinding out a 5-round decision or getting a submission. Maybe like ground and pound TKO, something like that. I doubt it. I see mostly wrestling kind of it going bell to bell, us being like, it kind of being a mood killer. And this is like no, with no bias against DC. I just kind of feel like that's how DC is gonna go out in this fight. I don't think DC is really gonna run the risk of eating something significant with a guy like Volkan when he could really just control the fight. It being DC, you know what I mean? Like DC's mentality, and him knowing, you know. A lot of guys tried to really control Volkan, and that's how they got knocked out, especially the last two, Misha Serkinov and Jimmy Manoa. He knocked them out like up against, or rocked them like up against the fence in clinch position, where Daniel's going to be a lot. So Volkan can generate that power to hit you right behind the ear and, you know, get your equilibrium going, like gone. So, yeah. Officially, I'm saying DC grinds out a decision, but my for the record statement is Volkan is getting the upset, and he's gonna knock DC out in like no time, like in a weird, funky way, like he always does. And I feel like he's gonna kind of be like the light heavyweight Ben Rothwell in a way. I kind of like, I wouldn't be surprised if he knocks DC out or TKOs DC. I'm not even fronting, like straight up. That wouldn't surprise me not one bit. So officially, I'm going DC, but I'm actually looking and probably like maybe expecting an upset. Like I would not be surprised. But yeah, officially, I am picking DC. Nothing against DC. You guys know that. If you don't know, like how I like stand on DC now, you can watch. I did a video a few months after 214 called "My Thoughts on DC Post 214" or some bullshit like that. So yeah, go listen to that. And yeah, man, tonight is the night. I'm pumped on it. I cannot wait. It's gonna start in a few hours, so I'm fucking pumped. And yeah, so I got a podcast episode I did yesterday or 2 days ago, some shit like that. Go check that out. And from Jake and Jamari from the East to the West, on our second episode, we got pro fighter Cassie Robb, who is the main training partner for Rose Namajunas, who it's announced that the rematch is going down in Brooklyn. And I mean, we come to find out she knew about it. She just couldn't talk about it. But we talked pretty extensively about that whole camp and a lot about that JJ championship fight and like what's next for Rose and like just a bunch of stuff about Rose. There's a lot of good shit in that interview. So go check that out. Yeah, shout out Cassie Robb, shout out the homie Jamari. And yeah, man, I'm fucking pumped for the fights tonight. Oh, should I do Douglas Lima and Rory McDonald picks? You know what? I am. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I say Rampage wins, TKO, and I say, I think Rory wins. I could see Lima easily winning, but I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out and I say Rory wins. So yeah, those are my picks, and you and Michael Chandler. I said Michael Chandler wins this fight. Yeah, so that's about it. I'm pumped on this shit, man. Let's fucking go. You already know it's Mastermind MMA.